to my channel, Reclaiming Jen. I'm Jen, and on my channel I normally talk about my VIPKid teaching gig where I work from home. You can work from home too. I teach kids from China how to speak English, and in a one-on-one situation, it is awesome. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about leaving parent feedback after each class. Now, I have been teaching with VIPKid since May 2019. I have evolved my way of leaving feedback in certain ways. So when I first began, of course, you teach your class, and then you can't think of anything right after class because then you might have another class right after, and so you do your feedback after classes all the time. That's what I did. I did my feedback after. I was very thoughtful with word choice, and I made sure that I sandwiched the constructive criticism with a positive and a positive, which of course I still do. But I was very thoughtful, and as I've become more seasoned in teaching with VIPKid, I find that I can do it more quickly, and I've figured out where to get the information I need from the lesson, how to explain to the parents that maybe aren't watching the replay or the live, what we did in class. So I briefly explain what targets we met in the lesson, and then I will be specific about how their child did. So when I first began at VIPKid, I wrote significant feedback and I just typed it. So at the beginning, I always used my laptop to write the feedback in the teacher portal. And until very recently, I still did that. So when I was able to think about feedback in between classes, in those 5 minutes in between classes, I would realize that I cannot go after class and remember everything that happened with that student. It's very challenging to remember even what the lesson was about. So I became aware that I needed to make notes about what the lesson was about and what targets we hit and the lesson objectives in the feedback before I left the classroom. So on my laptop, while we, goodbye, then I would go right to the feedback and look at the lesson objectives that are listed in the classroom, and I would type out what we did, if we did these phonics sounds, what the vocabulary in the lesson was, what the verb was, what the sentence frame was. I would type it out in the feedback while I was still in the classroom, even if I only had 1 minute to spare. And I am here to confess that I am not good at getting out of the classroom at 25 minutes. Even after a year, I find myself always extending past 25 minutes, especially with my regulars. I like to give them a chance to talk. I ask them if they have any news. Is there anything you want to tell me? Some of them just want to draw with me, and so admittedly, I am usually in the classroom till 28 minutes. So then I rush during the 2 minutes that I have left to get to the next classroom, and at that time I was typing what I needed to put in there to remember, so when I could go back later and do it, I wouldn't have to review the lesson objectives. I'm still not very good at getting out at 25 minutes. This week I challenged myself for one day that I would try and get all of my feedback for 7 classes in between classes. And I had a friend that I said, I'm so bad at it, and so that next day I tried to do it, and I did do it, and it was great. But for me, it takes a lot of focus and to really try to get out of there at 25 minutes and fit it all in. So the next step in my evolution was finding Ed Nace and his book. So feedback, I've written report cards in the past. I am a substitute teacher, so I've only really done one set of report cards, but I know what parents want to hear. I'm a parent myself of 2 kids. I know what I want to read and what's important and what's helpful, and so I think that I put reasonably good information in my feedback. But when I read Ed Nace's book, his ebook, I found that there was information that I just really didn't know about learning a second language. So some of the information he had in his book helped me write better feedback. And in fact, today I want to read you a feedback that I did for a parent. And this feedback was for a brand new student, and he is 4 years old. And the output that I've been able to get from him in our classes has been very minimal. And Mom tries so hard, and she sits with him and encourages him and tells him to repeat, and sometimes he does, but most of the time he doesn't. He stays focused in the lesson and he is engaged, but there's not much that he's saying. So this is an instance where Ed Nace's information in his book came in handy. Ed says that the foundation of learning a new language is listening. It's always listening. That's the first step. So in my feedback for this mom, I told her so. Today I was very happy to hear M introduce himself. Well done, M. Mom, you are a great support to M during class. I know it might be discouraging when he often does not repeat after the teacher. Please believe me when I tell you this is okay and a normal stage of learning a new language. Listening is the foundation for learning a new language. Children listen and learn how the language is supposed to sound. They store the new sounds in their minds, and as they hear these new unfamiliar sounds more often, they become more familiar, and the student will begin to grow more confidence. As familiarity and confidence grows, the child will speak more often. This progression was evidenced with M even since the last time I was his teacher. Wonderful. So even if his output is low at this point in time, I will remind you that he is listening, hearing the teacher, and he is learning. I hope to see M again soon. I can recognize that he will progress very well in this course. Thank you, Mom, for supporting M. See you next time. This was for a Lesson 8 assessment in Unit 1, in Level 1. And this was lengthier than I usually do, but I just felt like Mom was really putting in the effort, and being that this is his first assessment, I didn't want her to be discouraged. So I'm hoping that this feedback will be helpful to the mom to set her mind at ease that this is a good place for her child to start. So shout out to Ed Nace. If you haven't read his ebooks, go ahead and check him out. And there's great useful information in there, how to improve your feedback, okay? So I realized there had to be an easier way. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, and I really didn't want to pay money for Feedback Panda. So here's what I came across, and it's the silliest thing really. And I'm sure many of you do it, but I didn't think about it. So I started using the voice recording on notes. Right, you guys? So this was my epiphany. In my evolution of writing the feedback, I started using the voice recorder to, right after class, I would pause out, I would click on the notes, the class info, and I would simply read the lesson objectives, the sentence frames, and say the verbs and the targets for the lesson. And then I could quickly add in with my speech how the student did. Blah, 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 and see you next time. Okay? And while I was doing this, I could also be clicking to the next classroom. So that's what I did. Done. So I just did all of that right now. And so I saved it. And then for the next class, I would just add to it, and all of my students would be in one note on my phone. Brilliant. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Pretty sure the credit has to go to another teacher. I don't remember who may have said it, but I was like, maybe I should try that. And I also know that it took me time to actually implement it after I'd heard it. So I'm here to tell you, this is an evolution for sure. Okay, so there's more to that evolution, because I would go back in after classes and I would edit that note to make sure the capitals and periods, because you have to say, John did a great job today, period. John learned the words dog, cat, and ball, period. Okay, and then you can't say brackets, or if you can, I don't know how to get all that punctuation in there without having to go back and do it. So you do have to go in and edit it after, and so I would do that, and then I could copy and paste it in the phone app. So I've been using the phone app to do my feedback instead of on my laptop. Okay? Huge evolution from laptop to my app. That's where I'm doing my feedback now. There's another step because I improved it even more from that. Where are we at in the evolution? I've moved my feedback from typing on my laptop in the app to voice recording my feedback in my notes and then editing it and copying and pasting it into the feedback that you can do on the phone app. And then you can continue to do the rest of the click the, appropriate lesson was appropriate for the student, submit, done. So that's what, that was a big step for me. Okay, the next step to my evolution, because I don't know, I just figured it would be difficult to get, I didn't think it was an option really to voice record into the app. Well, I went into the app and I can see that the keyboard does allow me in the app, in the phone app, to voice record right there in the app. Hello! So I shaved some more time off of my feedback time by voice recording straight into the VIPKid Teach app. Side note for that. Prior to me starting this, the phone app did not save your work. So you would type it, and if you clicked through and then got distracted, put your phone down, the app closed or whatever, everything you've done is gone. Right? So that's why I was not compelled to do my feedback on the phone app, because it didn't save until you clicked submit. Now it's different. So now you can go onto the first page, write your feedback via voice recording, or however you're going to do it, via voice recording or typing, and then you have to click next. And once you click next, it saves that page. Then you can click back and it will still be there. If you do not click next, it will not save. So of course I have had times, even yesterday, where I got distracted, let the phone go black, and it kicks you out and you lose what you have if you did not press next. Let's review. My new method for submitting feedback for each class is to go into the phone app, click on feedback, open it up, voice record while I'm in the classroom, looking at the class objectives and the target sentences and the target words and reading those off. Okay, Will, this is a level 4 unit 9 class. It was great to see Will in class today, period. Will and I learned about wild animals and ways that they help people, period. The words we practiced today were bat, comma, upside down, comma, insect, comma, ladybug, comma, and dog, period. And then I might flip back and see what the math was. It doesn't mention the math here, but I can flip back through the slides and say we also talked about this. We corrected pronunciation for the word insect, and Will's fluency during the reading was very good. I look forward to seeing Will next time. Great job, Will! Exclamation mark. Sincerely, comma, Teacher Jen. Okay? And now it never capitalizes my Teacher Jen, so I have to go back in and edit and put a capital on that. Okay? Click next and save it. If you don't have time, you have to go to the next class. Go to the next class. Save that for later. You can come back to it. Guys, that's how I'm doing feedback. I wonder if there's anyone out there who can tell me how to even better perfect or increase the speed and efficiency of my feedback. I bet you there's ideas out there, and I can't wait to hear. All right, that is my video for this week, how to increase the efficiency of leaving parent feedback, and I will see you next time. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do. It helps my channel grow, and it helps me be able to bring more videos to you to help you through the hiring process and to help you on your journey to becoming the best teacher you can be with VIPKid or one of your other companies that you are with. Thank you so much. Please like this video if it was helpful, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.